Brown right, motion, tailback slant. Let's put the women and children to bed and go looking for fun, all right? On one, ready? Go 13! Coming after you, James! Go 13!
That's Grant Goodwin right here on Sideline to Sideline on L4 Media. You can find us on YouTube at L4 Media Company. You can find us on our audio podcast. I do apologize. I will put the Dark Horse episode up that we did last week. I'll put it up. Go to s2sgrantandterry.com. It's been to do tonight is talk the toughest districts in Class 4A, Class 3, and Class 2A, each division. Now we used to go top 5, but because we've kind of gotten used to these split divisions, once you go 5 out of 16 districts, you're kind of going, okay, so you're now average. The 5th district is average.
Right.
And we wanted to keep it where at worst you had to acknowledge that, yeah, these three, I might not agree with the order, but yeah, those are the 3 best by far.
Exactly.
All right, so let's start in 4A Division 1. And which one is you'll go top to bottom or bottom to top?
Bottom to top.
Like we did region or the region show. All right.
Yeah.
What is the
You're a bottom guy.
Oh,
I'm
I
a
knew
top
that was coming.
guy,
I was waiting that. Anyway,
I don't
what's
know
the
what
third?
that means, but I've heard that.
What's the third best district?
You know what's funny is on my notes I didn't write the 4th toughest district. I wrote 1, 2, and 3, but I did not write 4.
No, we're doing 3. I said, what's the third toughest?
No. Oh yeah. You know what?
You're reading
sorry,
what you're
dude.
reading. Yeah,
Goodness
told you,
gracious. All right. The third toughest district in 4A Division 1 is District 4, Stephenville, Brownwood, Lampasas.
And
hard to argue. Those are 3 big heavy hitters, especially with Stephenville and maybe Brownwood. And then Lampasas. Heck, I think Lampasas can push.
I saw them
Brownwood.
last year against Wimberley, and I told you they
really
were
good quarterback.
Well, they were just like what Lampasas was a few years ago when Ace was the quarterback and had some really good wide receivers. Offensively, man, they can go, but defensively they struggle. And then offensively, when they need it at the most, they can struggle. And that's what happened against Wimberley.
Yeah.
But they're going into a region, not a district, but a region where they're going to be as athletic as any other team. Now, in their district, they're going to start.
I think you win this district, you could win this region.
Look, I think the winner of this district does win this region. It's not even close.
I mean, nothing against Canyon, and then Canyon West Plains and Canyon Randall, because those are 3 really darn good teams, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think the winner of this district wins the region, goes to the semifinals.
I think there's a good chance that the winner of this district has to beat the second place team in the playoffs after the second place team beats the third place team. I think this is it's a really good district. I'm telling you, Lampasas is going to be way better than what people realize. But also after that, there's just so many questions. And that does matter when it comes to the regions. But for the district, but for the district, it doesn't. This is a great district. Anyway, so that's what we have as third.
All right. Second toughest district in 4A Division 1 is District 9, actually, with Kilgore, Chapel Hill, let's see, Pine Tree, and then
Lindale.
Yeah, Lindale. Sorry,
I know this is going to. I know this.
I'm going to put my reading glasses
on. And don't forget, Palestine got a new coach in James Brace, and we saw what he had done at Lumberton. Don't forget Maybank. You know, a lot of people feel that Maybank might have their best class since the Colton Browning years. You remember him in 07?
I do.
I know you're going to laugh, but I'm telling you,
I am
multiple coaches this week talked about that they feel that and they're not saying Maybank's going to, but they're just saying this is a better Maybank than we've seen since, in those last 15 years. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's Maybank. Wow.
They're not going to. This is the Wascom thing of last week, isn't it?
No,
this is a theme. I can feel this now.
This
This is a theme.
I'm
You're busting them now.
Sometimes I don't know if you're scratching a watch and winding your ass.
Dude,
Because Maybank, come on, man.
I didn't say
that's on the banks of the Cedar Creek Reservoir.
Hey,
you ever been to the Walmart at say 11 o'clock at night
at Gun Barrel
in Gun Barrel City?
Dude, I used to have to sell advertising over there. I was over there too many times.
Does that not tell you Maybank will never ever be a contender when you go to the Gun Barrel City, who they pull from, and you see that Walmart
Maybe
over
I'm
there.
just rooting for them, and they run a slot T. But also, again, all I said was multiple guys have said that they think Maybank's going to be better. They were 1-9 last year.
Oh my God!
It's like Colorado. It's like Colorado. All they got to do is
Wheezy. I'm having a connection here. This is the big one. Yeah. If you're 1-9, I can speak to multiple guys that say they're gonna win 2. My God.
All I'm saying is they make the district better.
I guess. I'm so far off kilter right now. That's okay. You okay?
Yeah.
You okay?
It's been one of those days. I needed
I'm putting
this.
my reading glasses on.
Yeah, put your reading glasses. Actually, I got to get my eyes.
All right.
If we ever get to be able to do that top 10 moments of our show and our 20-year anniversary, that would be definitely one of the funniest moments.
How far are we away from 20?
3 years, man. You're 17.
I'll never make it another 3 years. I'm not going like this.
Well, I hope not. I don't know if I can go like this another show.
So District 4 was the third toughest.
Yeah.
District 9 was the second toughest. The toughest district in 4A Division 1, we think, is District 7 with Salina, Frisco, Panther Creek, and Lake Dallas.
And people are going to be like, wait, Lake Dallas. Yes, Lake Dallas.
Yeah,
this is a talented team that dropped down from
8 or
5A.
9 games last year, right?
And
in 5A?
Yep. And they've been a consistent 5A team. They're always, honestly, what always seemed to hurt them is if they made the playoffs, it was either bad matchups or depth.
Yeah.
They're not going to have that issue in this district. They're
always
in this region.
Really good quarterback play.
Always really solid quarterback play and just solid teams that they just usually got outmanned or out athleted. Now, I also want to add Sulphur Springs, and I still think Aubrey and Paris. And this is why we say this.
I've been waiting on Sulphur Springs. They've gotten close, but they never
haven't quite. Yeah, but that's our point though. Of this district, honestly, and this is even a team in Nevada community that's just off of a quarterfinals run not too long ago. They're the only team that I would be absolutely shocked if they made a good run. Mm-hmm. Every other team in this district, and when I mean by good run, that's staggered. A couple of them winning state, like Salina or Panther Creek, but then like a Lake Dallas or an Aubrey being a semifinal team or a quarterfinal team, and that's why this district is so tough. One game is a gimme; every other one's going to be a dogfight.
Okay.
All right. Cool. Let's go to Class 4A Division 2, and we will start with.
All right. The third toughest district in Class 4A Division 2, I think, is District 9. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, I know West Orange, Stark, and Silsbee, and especially Silsbee loses generational players. But hey, Silsbee's had generational players before and lost them in 1-12.
Michael Mosier's still back at quarterback.
Michael Mosier's still back, and
he stepped up huge last year.
And those are the guys that even when you take away a stud wide receiver, they sometimes blossom more because they have to now watch the whole field. And that's not saying Silsbee forced the ball, but you're allowing the quarterback to go, hey, I don't have to always go to this one-on-one matchup because he wins. Now I can start. And usually those quarterbacks develop and they're great. And then you've got a Jasper. Dude, it feels like they're just almost there. They need a little bit more offensive consistency. And then the Bulldogs could easily become a class of this region.
Yeah, and then you got Hampshire Finette,
who's just been nothing but steals and nails and power the last few years.
They should be better this year, I think.
Yep.
I think they're going to be very tough. All right, so that was District 9. the third toughest district in 4A Division 2. I think District 11 is the second toughest district in 4A Division 2, and that's because of Belleville, Sealy, and Madisonville.
Yeah.
I think we all know what. I say we all know what Belleville's going to be. I mean, they lost a lot, but they still have D.D. Murray, right? And they still have the best defensive player in probably all classifications, right?
And I say yes, and I say he's also DJ Sanders is also the best defensive tackle in 4A and below that we've seen since Dalen Mack.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think maybe he
probably
might
better than Dalen
I think
Mack.
he might be better. Mack. I mean, when I mean better, I mean I think he has a longer career. Mack got derailed at A&M, and for all the talk, DJ Sanders is one of those that's head down. He knows to get better, and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I think Belleville's proven also that they're a class team, but Madisonville, Sealy. Two teams that
I don't think Belleville will dominate Madisonville.
No, I think Madisonville's way more physical than people understand, and we've seen
going to be a lot better than what people think.
Yes,
and the quarterback
Ty Williams or Williamson, but Ty. Yeah.
I mean, that dude is a player, and I think Madisonville is way underrated this year. Yep, I really do. I think Madisonville could be a top 5 to top 10 team.
All right. Yes. No, I totally
and then
agree.
you got Sealy in there. Sealy, they lost a lot, but they still have some coming back.
Yep.
And I think Sealy's going to be pretty darn good too. All right. So that's the second toughest district in 4A Division 2. I think the toughest district in 4A Division 2 is over in Region 2, District 7.
And I mean, you got, I'll put it this way. When you have Gilmer, who you could make the case was the second best team last year in this district, and they end up winning state, and they return a ton to where I would honestly make the case right now, if Gilmer Carthage played, I would call Gilmer the favorite.
Would you?
Yes, I would.
I don't think I would.
And that's no problem. But I think the fact that Gilmer's even in the discussion proves we've seen Gilmer.
Absolutely.
And then, folks, Gilmer's getting better because their quarterback last year, who never really wanted to play quarterback, he loves to play defense, gets to be only on defense, and they get a hell of a quarterback that's moved in a McCown, and I think that takes Gilmer back to that level where they were in 2004 through 2010, where, the last few years they've struggled at times to be consistent on offense. And they've had to kind of grind out, which is so weird of a Gilmer team. I don't think they'll have to do that this year. I think Gilmer's about to start another, oh my God, it's Gilmer.
Yeah. Yeah, and then throw Van in there, right?
Who's just consistently Van. And eventually that'll break through.
How physical they were up front last year offensively on the offensive line, and they should be just as good this year offensively. Defense, we don't know.
That's always the thing with Van a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
So, it tracks.
And then you got teams like Spring Hill has a great running back who last year had 1,400 yards as a sophomore, and he could,
one of the better running backs in 4A Division 2.
And those are the types where they're playing, they're plugging along at 3-3, and then all of a sudden he goes off against a Gilmer or Van and goes for 250, and it completely changes the playoffs.
Right.
And that happens every year. And that's why we feel that this district is where we have them.
Yep. All right. That was 4A.
Yes,
How about we go 3A Division 1?
All right, 3A Division 1. We're going to start at the third, and that is District 11. Look, it's real easy to say they could be the best, and you could make a case for it. And by the way, I think this is the division that's probably the tightest between all of them. You got Franklin, you got Little River Academy, you've got Yo, and we talked about Yo in the Reed Show. But then you've got teams like Rockdale who, they won state in 2017, and ever since then they're kind of ebbing and flowing, but they're never terrible. And they're always a team you don't want to play in the first round, as we like to say.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
and Troy. I mean, there's not a bad team in this district. Now, the record-wise that, somebody's going to end up, but I mean,
throw in Cameron.
That's what I'm saying. None of these teams are laughing stock teams. It would not shock me if the worst team in district is still 3-0, 4-0 going into the district.
Right.
This is we can make the case as the best district, but I like the ones that we have. But again, this is the tightest division.
All right. So that was the third. The second toughest district in 3A Division 1 we've got as District 8, right?
Yep.
We got Jefferson, Liberty Islo, Atlanta.
Yep.
Those are three. Look, Jefferson's probably the most athletic, but are they? because Liberty Islo is pretty darn athletic.
And you got Brad Wheeler, the head coach there from Mount Vernon. We saw what he turned. And Mount Vernon.
Let me tell you, if Willard can turn Liberty Islo with those athletes as physical as he did.
Exactly. That's where I was going.
Yes.
They could be scary, and not only scary, but scary really, really quick.
Oh, yeah.
His programs don't
quick enough this year or next year.
If things break right, I could see it this year. But again, I think this is the reason we have this district number 2. And by the way, me and Grant went back and forth on this because I was saying District 11 should be number 2 because of the skin on the walls. And he's saying yes, but District 8 for the potential. And I kind of, if we could have meshed this into number 3 and 3B or number 2 and 2B, because I like District 8 at the end of the season. I think at the end of the season, you're going to have a Jefferson that's going to surprise people, Atlanta, Liberty Islo. And you know what? I know Gladewater is – the fans tell us we're down, but they were scrappy last year. This was a Gladewater team that was –
it's some size issues.
Well, again, and that's an issue.
But 2 years,
but in this district, nobody's known as being cattle herders on the offensive line.
No.
And then you've even got a Sabine team that, their era – their era is – this is the best era that Sabine football has ever been in. They're at least competitive. They're not great. They're not consistent. So that's why they ended up number 2. And by the way, I do at the end of the day agree with you. So anyway, that is the number 2 district, and that means the number 1 district in Class 3A Division 1 is –
we think it's District 12.
And that's easy, dude. Just Columbus and Hitchcock alone.
Yeah.
I mean, what they did last year, and even 2 years ago, and then what they both have back. And also what's great about it is these are 2 rivals, and it feels like no matter what, this will be an end of an era of this 4-year run between these 2. And so there's so much about that that's awesome. Oh, and then by the way, you've got Hallettsville and Yoakum. And
Hallettsville's going to be a lot better than what people think.
And Yoakum's
flying totally under the radar. All right, let's go on to 3A Division 2, and why don't you start off the festivities.
All right, in Class 3A Division 2, we're going to start off as the 3rd toughest district, that being District 6. And this is a district with, the likes of Jacksboro, who, they're in one of those best ever, I think a best ever run that they've ever had since their state championship team in 63 or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
And are they going to prove to stay along when they've lost a lot of key players, but do return some key players? Can they, that's where we talked about it last week. That's where you learn how a program is evolving. And then you've got Holiday, who I don't know if they're in the moonlight of the last run and this is it, or do they become Holiday
this
again?
is the telling season for Holiday.
I think
right
so.
Now. They've got the dudes. Can they make the change?
That they rolled the dice a couple years ago. Yeah.
Second year, they're moving from a wing tee to basically a spread. Right?
And to be fair, they didn't get as far in the playoffs last year, not because of all that, because Jacksboro was just really, really good.
Yeah.
And they still took Jacksboro to the mat, but Jacksboro was just really good. And then you got teams that I feel bad for, like Millsap, who, Jake Johnson's trying to build there. They still haven't got through that first playoff win, but they've made the playoffs 3 of the last 4 years. But now they're in a district where, honestly, even if Millsap had their best season ever, I don't know it would be enough. But you do have a Wichita Falls City View who's
always very athletic.
Yeah. And 2 years ago made a quarterfinal run. They played, Brock a couple. Was that? Yeah, that was Hershey that played Brock.
Yeah,
sorry.
Hershey, yeah.
Who was it that City View went and played somebody in the north? Anyway, that's our number 3. What do you have next?
All right. The second toughest district in 3A Division 2, I got District 14.
Yeah. Yeah,
with East Bernard, Tidehaven, and Vanderbilt Industrial.
What I love
those are 3 big teams right there, man.
Yeah, and then
in the same district.
And you've got Rice Consolidated, that in name at least, and they were better last year.
And we'll know more about Van Vleck. Van Vleck plays Edna week 1. We're thinking about going to the Edna Van Vleck game.
And then even Wallace Brazos has had, dynamic seasons the last couple of years. This is a really strong, where you don't really have this team's going to go win state team, but you have a lot of, we could see this team at least winning the region.
Right.
And again, Tidehaven, are they building, or was Dodd just so great that and then they just go back to being
think about bowling? Team? Bowling was in the state championship game, 3-4 years ago?
That not fluke run, but it kind of was surprising.
Well, they had a quarterback that was supposed to go to Alabama, not to play quarterback, but play. I forgot what he was going to play, but They were talented, very talented. It wasn't a fluke run. It was an unexpected run.
But yeah, good point.
Right,
Good way to say it.
right. All right. So the best district in Class 3A Division 2, we've got as District 10 with Hooks, Dangerfield, and DeKalb. And then you throw in Queen City, New Boston, Hughes Springs.
Yeah, I mean, this is
that's the top three there. Dangerfield, obviously, being the top team there, then Hooks, and then DeKalb.
Yeah. No, I have no problem with that. That's you have if we did tiers, you have the tier 1 team, you have the 2 or 3 tier 2 teams, and again, you maybe have one team that's just truly okay. If they make a playoff, you'd be absolutely shocked.
Right.
All right, so let's now go to Class 2A Division 1, and we'll start with 2A Division 1's District 4. I feel like we're doing bingo. District 4 or Hunger Games.
Okay.
I tribute. Anyway. So District 4.
Yeah, Cisco, Hawley, Stanford. Stanford being the big dog here, right? Hawley, Hawley and Stanford are neck
1A
and neck,
and 1B.
Right?
Yeah, I know in the playoff game last year, Stanford won pretty bad.
Is going to be special this year. Hawley, got to knock them off, right? Got to knock the champions off. But Sunray, man, or not Sunray, I'm sorry. Cisco, I really think is going to be a little bit closer than what they, to what they were 5-6 years ago.
We talked about it with Holiday. It's kind of year 3 of this or year 2 of this. Will it work? Cisco's in now start of year 3 of, okay, Cisco, can we trust you? Mm-hmm. Because, even a couple years ago when they had a bad year, they snuck up and upset. I can't remember who it was. They upset somebody in round 1 of the playoffs. And so it kind of shined that bad season up. Like, oh, maybe they just had some bad breaks, but then they've done it a couple of years now where they're not even competitive at times. And so I think this is an important year for Cisco. And I think it makes this district entertaining because in saying all that, like when Hawley played Cisco last year, they only won 28-17. Cisco still has a name, and you still have to pump your kids up to be like, hey, this is Cisco, because Cisco still not, I want to say intimidate, but you know how I mean that.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. So I think though that Hawley and Stanford are the two big names here
100%
that prop up District 4, right?
Yep.
If they had one more outside of Cisco, I think they could make their case for the best district in 2A Division 1.
All
right. So the second best district we think, or toughest district in 2A Division 1 is over in Region 3, District 9.
And this is mainly because of 2 teams in Cooper and Honeygrove, but Omaha Paul Pewitt, for the first time since they made their state championship run in 2019 and lost, is in a division where they can compete.
Oh yeah,
and I think they're going to be the team that all of a sudden gets back.
It's not
good
like
again.
They weren't competing.
But you know what I mean. You know what I mean, though. Like
3 years ago, they were in a state championship game.
That's what I said. The last time that they were in a class in a division that I feel that the numbers at the time matched was then. They got small really quick, and what I mean by small is it wasn't enough to drop them immediately, but it was enough to hurt their depth in football. The thing with
Pewitt was offensively they've been scoring points.
Yep, they just got
defense. They're giving up. They're scoring 50, but they're giving up 60.
Even that 2019 state championship run, them and Dangerfield in the 2 shootouts, and they couldn't stop Gunner when it mattered. That's a really good point.
You give up points against Dangerfield. You give up points against Gunner. Do you give up points against DeKalb? Do you give up points against the average teams? And they have been doing that.
Exactly.
It's,
but I think
you've got to be good defensively against the average teams and the good teams. The good team's going to put up their points no matter what, but can you keep them below 30?
Right? I think when they're going up against the Albert Goldens of the world and not the Dangerfields of the world, their defense is going to all of a sudden look a lot better.
No, they've got a real shot here to make playoffs, but Honeygrove and Cooper are tough outs.
And we've got to see, is this the year that Honeygrove finally gets past Cooper? It feels like it's building that way, but man,
Cooper's got a lot coming back from a team that beat Honeygrove already last 2 years, right?
I think 3 years in a row, and that's what I'm saying. It's in those rivalry games. Sometimes it takes a couple years, even if you're the better team, to snap those losing streaks.
I think Honeygrove has the dudes on defense and the big boys on the offense side of the ball do they have game breakers?
And that's what hurt them.
I don't think they
exactly.
do. But when you have a good enough defense,
That's a really good point.
You don't always need the game breakers. You just need somebody to move the ball forward 4 yards.
Yeah.
Right. But
in the playoffs,
you can't do that. Yeah, in the playoffs,
you got to have some
more than that.
GoDaddies.
Yeah, you need somebody that's going to break it.
And we'll now move over to the top district in this division because it's just right down the road, but it has a bunch of those game breakers and good defense, and that's District 11. Of course, you got Timpson, the defending state champ, who will not. They're going to take a step back, and not just because of Bussy, but because of the other players. But they still got J.J. Garner, and they still got, I think, they're one of those
two-way star on both sides of the ball.
And he's a star. And I mean, he's not going to replace Terry Bussy in the lore, but he's going to continue that Timpson. And I think Timpson is still a top 3 team in this division.
Oh yeah, I think Timpson might be still the team to beat in Region 3, right?
Oh yeah.
But
then you've got a Garrison team that is
Garrison's got some stuff to replace.
Yeah, they do. But again, so does Timpson. And you can make the case that the last 2 years, the second best team in Region 3 and maybe the second or third best team in the state was Garrison.
It's Garrison. Yeah, you're right. So yeah, they could be right up there. So yeah, it could, state championship could come down to District 11, right?
And 2 times, because if they play once, they'll play twice.
Yep. All right. So we're going to Division 2.
Yep, we're going to finish it up with Division 2, and we're going to start with – it feels like we're saying a lot of the same numbers in this, but it's just because there's only 16 districts in every division now. But the third place district is District 11.
Yeah.
This one's one of those I think is the epitome of what could be. I could see amazing –
This could be the third – best district in 2A Division 2 or the best district.
By far.
We'll know that in 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. But it is
into the season.
And the reason we say that is we both feel really strongly about Overton and Tenaha. And it's weird to say this about Tenaha because we're talking about a Tenaha team that not too long ago was the state championship or bust, but we don't know if we trust them. Same thing with Cushing. Cushing is everybody kind of forgot about Cushing, and they're always physical and they always seem to start really strong and then just peter out. And that's why we say this district could be, oh my God, or we might be laughing at this pick at the end of the year. I think at worst we're going to be like we were at least dead on with them being third.
Yeah, if not better. I think they might even be better.
Yeah,
I mean, again. We know Lovelady's going to be
we need to bring up Lovelady.
Right, but I think Tenaha and Overton are the two that could really make some hay. All right, so the second toughest district in Class 2A Division 2, we're going over to Region 2, and that's going to be District number 8 with Collinsville, Munster, and Lindsay. Munster and Lindsay are the 2 big guys here, right?
Oh, yeah.
Collinsville...
Well, again, we talked about in the regional show. Yes, I know they lose, one of the greatest quarterbacks in Class 2A, 3A, 4A. I know after that you start to compete with, guys who end up like Kyler Murray in the pros, but just high school stats, one of the greatest that's played. But a lot of that was also the system, and they do return a lot of that. But it's Munster's district, and this might be Munster's region this year. This is a team that took Albany to the mat last year with a bunch of sophomores. That got beat up and hurt and during the game and there was depth issues. The Munster, let's remember 2017 they won state from a team that had kind of built up to that. Yeah. And I feel like I think it's not the end, but I think we're at the beginning of a cycle where they're about to have a 3-year run that's pretty special.
Yeah, I do too. Man. Yeah, I think this region, Munster, Albany again. Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's going to be a fun one. And again, if Collinsville figures it out.
Albany, you can say we got more coming back, right, than Albany does.
But it's still Albany.
We played them close.
Yeah.
But it is Albany.
It's still Albany. And you and I talk about it in high school football and a little bit in college, but high school football, magic still happens.
That still happens.
Magic still happens
it
where
still
you're down. I think I said in the region show, you're down 21 points and you're like, man, we only got 10 minutes. But somehow the football gods work and it's the longest 10 minutes of football and you're able to score 4 touchdowns out of nowhere. Great teams do that.
That's what makes our sport the best sport in the world.
Exactly.
And then you got European soccer, which is pretty darn good.
Here we go.
No, it's not European soccer, which is pretty darn good, right?
Okay.
world soccer. I'm not going on a tangent.
I know you actually
I'm
like
just
soccer now.
saying,
You actually like
this
you like
is like-
football.
Oh yeah. No, I just I don't know.
The only other sport that matches this is hockey because hockey is more random. The randomness. Oh, whatever. Anyway, all right. So
That's
what's
soccer on ice, dude?
I'm going to edit it to where I say, "What's the best district?" And you're going to
wins
have you
1-0, and we kicked their ass, and it was 1-0 because we had 40 shots and they had 20 shots. But it was 1-0.
What?
Oh,
what
man.
is the top district of 2A Division 2?
Sorry to stomp on your favorite sport.
I love hockey.
You hoser. That's fine. No, that's fine. I don't mind communists. I love them.
I always told you this. Hey, I'm going to stick around in high school football for 20 to 25 years and then get my dream hockey job.
I'm trying to fill in for Coach X because he's not here, so I'm calling you a
You're
communist.
actually way better than Coach X.
Thank you.
I don't know if that's a compliment or not. Hey, what is the toughest district in Class 2A Division 2?
Dang. So just no. Bring it down.
What is? All
right. The toughest district in 2A Division 2 is all the way in Region 3, District 10.
Now,
Fremont, Mart, and the big one, and then Chilton. Yes.
But you and I were a little in disagreement of one thing. We both felt 10 is number one. I feel it's 10 and then big gap and then everybody else, just simply because Mart and Bremen are two teams that in every district they're prohibitive favorites unless they're in the same district. And then
you're right.
I just feel like, and then we're not even talking about the likes of a Wortham or a Goldwaite and a Frost, teams that aren't great, but they consistently make the playoffs and win a couple games.
I don't know about Frost. But
yeah, I couldn't. That's the one I pulled at the last. I was like, this is Frost. Now I'm gonna go back and show they've won like one. My baby.
Yeah, you might want to double check Frost.
I'm gonna check the Polar Bears.
But
I'm gonna check the Polar Bears. Scott Ford was the head coach of Paul. They were 5-5 last year. It's not too bad. Yeah, Scott Ford was the head coach of Frost.
5-5. What are you from, Royce City? We're having parades at 5-5, dude.
Dude, y'all are about to become a 6A power.
Really?
Yeah, no, seriously.
I've been hearing that for a long time.
Didn't y'all win like 2 playoff games year before last?
I don't think we won.
I think last year you had a really bad, or the last time you went to the playoffs, you had a really bad draw.
Yeah, we hadn't had more than 2
anyway.
In a long time. So I don't know how you build a powerhouse out of that.
Are we done? Are you done?
If you got a Buc-ee's in your town, I don't know what it is, but that's the death of your football. Luling, nope.
Okay,
Madisonville, pretty good, but hadn't won anything.
Yeah.
Temple hadn't won anything in a while.
Since Chad
Denton,
president.
Geyer.
Yeah, but Geyer's about to hit a massive. Well, I mean, for them, a big step back. Jackson Arnold's
I'm just saying, Buc-ee's is
Ruins
great, but I don't know.
You know
man,
what? You know what gas station wins state championships?
Sefco, Kefco,
Easy Mart. Back in the day, you could get a hot dog, a Coke, and a Snickers for 89 cents.
No,
I lived on those in college, man.
Look,
serious.
I think what you're trying to say is the convenience store that will win you a state championship.
Not Allsup's.
Is Allsup's.
No.
Holly.
No. Okay, yeah, but but let's compare Easy Marts to that. Somebody did you see that cool map somebody did that exploded on YouTube?
I did last year.
No, like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, I don't.
It was all the state. It was the state broken down by all the capitals and every logo of what team was in.
I did see that.
That was pretty cool. So somebody do that with Easy Marts and Allsup's and Sefco's.
Way outdoes Easy
No. I'm talking about how many state champions come from towns with those in them. Somebody do that chart. I'm saying Easy Mart. Dude, Easy Mart's through East Texas, Southeast Texas, into Dallas, man.
Yeah, but I think
there's an Easy Mart in Duncanville. I really do. In fact, we were joking about that because I went in there for the hot dog and they don't do that anymore. But anyway.
You went in there for the hot dog.
That's a good edit point.
Hell yeah.
All right, that's it. We're going to end it here.
Party, so.
I like to party hardy. Until next time, I want to remind everybody you can follow us on Twitter at Grant and Terry. Like us on Facebook, Sideline to Sideline. Go to our YouTube channel and watch these videos and comment there. I mean, you can comment on Facebook and on the message boards as well. But if you will comment on the YouTube videos, it helps us. It helps our channel grow in the eyes of YouTube. And we do really appreciate the numbers we've been getting. You know, like in March, we had 1,300 subscribers, which was awesome. And then now we're almost 8,000. Our high school show that we did last week that covers the three, outside of 6-man, the three smallest classes in Texas, we're at almost 5,000 views and going up on that. And so we appreciate that. So all we're asking is if you could comment on that as well, help to get the comments going there. It'll help us out. But hey, just keep listening or watching it. And if you only can listen, go to s2sgrantandterry.com. Anything else to say, partner?
No, sir.
All right.
Big Arse preview show.
I was about to say, so I don't know where this is going to drop. So either the Big R's preview show will be in a few days or it might be 2 weeks. But either way, we've got the toughest district, toughest region. We recorded those tonight. And then we have our 3 Big R's preview shows, which we will record this weekend. And until you hear those, he's Grant. I'm Terry. This is Sideline to Sideline, brought to you by Neuro Plus Mouth Guard on L4 Media.